Mr. President.
The senator from Florida.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources be discharged from further consideration of Senate 3086 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. Further, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
I object.
Objection is heard.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and do yours.
Mr. President,
The senator from Utah.
I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of S4571, which is at the desk. Further, I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is
Mr. President, I object.
objection is heard. Senator from Florida.
Across the country, American families are fighting harder every week to make ends meet as they deal with President Biden's raging inflation crisis. Food prices are up, gas prices remain at unbearably high levels, and too many families are having to make the impossible decision of whether to put gas in the tank or food on the table. It's so tough to be a family in that position. I know all too well how this feels and the impacts these high prices have on families. I grew up in a poor family with a mom who worked long hours at her job and also picked up odd jobs just so our family could get by. We never had any extra money, so when prices went up, we had to go without. Families all across the country are in that same spot. People who have never visited food banks are having to turn to them to feed their families. Folks are being forced to pawn their things just to afford gas. It's heartbreaking and makes me furious. Reports are showing it's happening across America, in Reno, Nevada, Macon, Georgia, Yakima, Washington, and in cities in my home state of Florida, like Pensacola and Fort Myers. These people are having to turn to their local pawn shops as they see their monthly bills grow higher and higher. When President Biden said that we're going through a, quote, an incredible transition, is this what he meant? Mom and dad having to sell Bobby's PlayStation and Susie's doll collection just so they can afford to take them to school. Since day one, President Biden has led a campaign against energy independence. The White House, the EPA, the Department of Interior, and Department of Energy have done everything in their power to make life more expensive for American families. They've implemented one policy after another to raise the price of gas and make life tougher and tougher for hardworking families. The American people deserve transparency into Biden's Green New Deal agenda and ought to know why these prices keep going up. That's why I introduced the Gas Price Act last October. Even then, far before the horrible war in Ukraine began, gas prices were surging higher. My bill is pretty simple. It would require the Energy Information Administration to report to Congress on any federal agency policies or regulations that it determines will cause energy prices to rise. All it does is ask a federal agency to provide information to Congress with a statement of facts on what's causing rising energy prices. Then we can take this information, see what needs to be fixed, and help the American people. I want to thank Senators Marshall, Lummis, Capito, Johnson, Moran, Blackburn, and Kennedy for co-sponsoring this legislation. I also want to thank Senator Sullivan and Senator Lee for joining me here on the floor today to talk about the energy inflation Joe Biden is imposing on Americans. Considering that we as senators are trusted by the people of our states to enact policies that improve their lives, I cannot imagine why anyone would oppose this legislation. Sadly, when I came to the Senate floor last year to pass this bill, Senate Democrats opposed it. At that time, I noted that the national average cost was $3.36 per gallon. Sounds like a bargain today. Since then, the price of gas has risen dramatically. The average has increased to $4.46. In 15 of 17 months Joe Biden has been in office, the price of gas has risen. When I introduced my bill in October, President Biden said he, quote, didn't have a near-term answer for reducing gas prices. Well, clearly not. His answer was to raise prices and continue his radical Green New Deal agenda. Senate Republicans, meanwhile, do have a plan and have offered solutions. I've introduced the Free American Energy Act to expedite the federal agency's review process of applications for permits, waivers, licenses, or other authorizations related to energy production. But we can take a simple first step today by giving ourselves more information on rising energy prices and passing my Gas Price Act. Mr. President, for the sake of American families, we need to figure out what the heck is going on. So while my colleagues on the other side of the aisle blocked my bill from passing last year, my hope was that as they have watched their constituents suffer for months now, under Biden's leadership, they would have a change of heart. Sadly, that's not what happened today. It's an absolute shame what has happened in this chamber. I came here with my Republican colleagues to promote and pass legislation that would improve the lives of American people and make America less dependent on foreign oil. We came here asking for answers into Biden's Green New Deal agenda. We're here responding to the pain American families are facing at the gas pump and trying to solve problems. Senate Democrats, meanwhile, have come here to obstruct and blame shift. They didn't come here to solve problems. They didn't come here with a different proposal that would alleviate gas prices and ensure long-term energy independence and sustainability. They came here to make the problem worse. They want to emulate the policies of Germany and California, where rolling blackouts and energy rations are a looming threat, and where gas has spent most of this year at over $6 per gallon. This is not the way forward, Mr. President. The Senate needs leaders who are going to come in and put Americans first. I'm grateful for colleagues like Senator Sullivan and Senator Lee who are here to do that. But I hope the American people have been watching what's happening today and see who it is that really cares about the problems they're facing. Mr. President, I yield the floor to my colleague from Utah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the senator from Florida. Mr. President, President Biden